What's going on, guys? Welcome to Own the Chaos. My name is Brad, and this is Stock Watch Sunday, where we go over all the stocks that we're going to be watching throughout the week, ones that you may want to consider taking a second look at. And yeah, that's what we do every Sunday night at 8:30 p.m. Eastern time. So if this is your first time visiting, make sure that you subscribe to this channel and hit that thumbs up, because this is going to be another great Stock Watch Sunday, and I assure you that you're going to enjoy it. So welcome some of our familiar folks here. We were already starting some conversations before I went live. And the reason they knew I was going live is because, first of all, I always go live at 8:30. But I also made this announcement within our free Discord platform over at WeTrade HQ. So WeTrade HQ is a community that I designed with my partner, Jake. And it wasn't just meant to be dedicated to penny stocks, even though that's what I do every day for a living. That's what this channel is all about, is over-the-counter penny stocks. But we designed WeTrade HQ for everybody, not just somebody who's trading in one specific area of the market, but all areas of the market, and cryptocurrencies as well. So go check it out. The links are down in the description. It's absolutely free to join. We have over 4,200 members from around the globe learning and growing and celebrating each other's success, so that no matter what you're trading in the market, WeTrade HQ is the place for you. So let me welcome some folks here. Duke, what's going on? Raquel, I'm so happy to see you, Raquel. She's in my morning mentorship, which I go live with a private group of people learning to or wanting to learn in the over-the-counter space. I share my best practices and how I've been able to find success and do this for a living. Been doing it now for a living. I've reached my year anniversary from when I officially retired from that 9 to 5. It's been awesome. It's been a great ride so far. And I really want to continue to just crush it with you guys. So if you want to step up your game within the OTC markets and find how I find success, go check out the links in the description below. It's my morning mentorship where I go live from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. I record all of them, so just in case you happen to miss it, you can go back and watch it as well. It's an exclusive group to be in, and I'm sure a lot of the folks that are in the morning mentorship can attest to just how great of a community is there too. So Craig, what's going on? Trading for days. Alan, as always, good to see you, man. Jason, beam me up. Mark, Stanley, Christopher Robinson, good to see you again, buddy. Golf for Life Pure. Adam, I'm not sure if I've seen you before, so welcome if you're new. I'm just going to say quick Red Fox, good to see you, man. Trading for days. Peter, Lachina, Joker, what's going on? Shark, how's it going, Bob? Good to see you, man. So the top 4 stocks that I'm watching this week. A couple of them, one of them is a repeat, and actually 3 of them are new. So let's take a look at them without further ado and share my screen with you as per the usual. I'm going to bring up QPRC. We've talked about QPRC. This is one, okay, that since we've brought it up within Stock Watch Sunday has only ran 400%. That's it. No big deal, right? 400% QPRC has ran. Unbelievable move on QPRC so far. And I've explained to you guys, I think, in some of my midday market recaps, which if you're not familiar with, I do go live on YouTube just to kind of go over some of the success and failures that we experienced throughout the day and how we were able to learn from those. And I talked about QPRC from a chart perspective. There's a trend that happens with a lot of these stocks that are related to pending court cases and settlements and that sort of thing, where they go straight up and come straight back down. And so when QPRC was first discovered that they had a lot of these patent pendings and settlements and stuff like that going through, that's what happened. That was the characteristic run up and run down on court case plays. We saw this with past court case settlement type stocks like NTLK and BRKK and was AVOI was another one, had an Apple lawsuit. And so what happens here is that you see people get excited and then they realize, oh, we got to wait forever for the settlement they actually go through. So they grow impatient and then it sells off. However, what's happening now with QPRC is that people are buying this and seeing the value and holding. I think that there's going to be a much stronger move on QPRC. There's a lot of good things going on. They have, I think they have over 100 patents. So what the business that they do, right? So they have these patents. So looking at the company profile, basically tells you that QPRC is a New York-based intellectual property asset manager. Quest specializes in both mature and emerging technologies, providing financial, strategic, and legal resources for the monetization of intellectual property. Just to kind of give you a basic explanation of what that means, they go out and seek patents that have been infringed upon, and then go after these companies that have infringed upon those patents. And so most notably, we've seen them have settlements with companies like Texas Instruments, Asus, lots of other major companies, and they have pending ones with Apple, and most recently that has kind of been brought to the forefront to a lot of folks is Amazon. So they have this is the Markman hearing minutes that what took place late last week. And what I think is what's most notable here is that, the court addressed mediation to be held within 30 days after the claim construction order is issued. Mr. Bettinger addressed narrowing claims. So what's going to be happening with QPRC and Amazon within the next 30 days? Well, lots of times when this happens, they go through mediation. And what mediation means is that basically they're trying to settle this out of court. A mediation, you got your plaintiff defendant, meaning QPRC, Amazon, they get together with their lawyers. They usually have like a retired judge, something along those lines, where they will just kind of try to work it out before really going into any kind of real litigation. And so oftentimes QPRC has been able to settle out of court with a lot of the major companies that they've already settled with on their patent infringement cases. So, and in fact, QPRC has settled with just about all of them so far that they've gone through this type of litigation with. And so are we going to say that they're guaranteed to settle with Amazon? Absolutely not. We can't guarantee anything, especially within the OTC. But having said that, I think that QPRC, things are looking good for them here, given their track record and given what they have going on moving forward. I mean, Amazon isn't the end of the line here. That isn't the big, that's the big story right now, but they got so much other stuff going on with other companies they're looking to settle these patent infringement cases on. We've talked about QPRC at length with a lot of other DD or due diligence that they've gone through. And so I would encourage you to go ahead and do your own due diligence. This thing has already run 400%, as I explained to you guys, since late March when we first discovered this. Those within my morning mentorship group, they're already riding on free shares. It's a type of strategy that we employ, and how I've been able to be successful and continue to do this for a living is basically buy in at a lower price, sell your initial investment once you reach your own desired target price, whether that's 20%, 50%, maybe even a 100% gain, where you sell half of those shares and then ride those profits, or ride those what we would call free shares. And so that's where a lot of our folks are at within my morning mentorship. A lot of the folks within the WeTrade HQ community are now riding on free shares. And so the stress is off at that point. The money that they've used to invest with that into that company, they've been able to take out, and so they can use that to invest elsewhere. And now the shares that they're holding right now is all 100% pure profit shares. If you're not in QPRC, just to kind of give you an idea of where I'm seeing some areas of opportunity, there's always going to be pullbacks, right? And we've seen that with QPRC already. We've seen plenty of pullbacks on this. I like it at 031. So if I pull this, and again, this is at WeTradeHQ.com, where I'm doing my due diligence, my technical analysis right here with our integrated trading view charts. We can talk about it amongst our friends over here in our forums. There's our Discord as well, and actually news links too to talk about or to check out. All this is actually absolutely free to do and interact with on WeTradeHQ.com. So go check it out. But as I said, I think 031 is a really good area of support. So if there is any kind of substantial pullback on QPRC, I think 031 could be a great area of opportunity to perhaps make an entry on this or add to your position as you're building and growing your account. For me personally, when I'm looking for stuff like this, I'm looking for areas or for stocks that I'm going to be, adding or for looking for longer term type potential, longer term swing trades. Down here in the OTC, some of my largest wins have come from these longer term swing type plays where I build my account around these longer term positions and wait for them to grow because I see long term potential with them. I'm not saying that you can't make money day trading this type of stuff, but in my experience, it's been a lot more difficult. You experience a lot smaller wins that way. And so for me personally, all these ones that I'm watching right now is ones that I think could, yield long-term potential. Thanks, Joker and Alan. Appreciate the donations there, guys. That's so awesome. I always like to shout out some folks that are gonna support this channel. So thank you guys so much for doing that. So the next one I'm going to talk about is LFAP. Now, this is one we've talked about before, and actually, I'm going to have to go back and retract my previous statement. So, 2 out of the 4 that we're watching are new stocks to Stockwatch Sunday. But LFAP is one we've been talking about a lot lately, and for good reason. The reason is because it actually broke its previous support. So we've been talking about this at length for really kind of the last couple of months about how LFAP has really been strong at sustaining this support at 14.5 cents. Well, as of recently, it's kind of dropped off a little bit. I think the main reason has been because there's maybe a little bit of boredom going on with LFAP. They've had a lot of going on though, not in the terms of revenue actually bringing money in, but there's a lot of things they have to do on the back end, or I should say on the front end, before they can actually get this thing going. But that's really kind of the time to really start accumulating a position, as far as I'm concerned, before the big catalysts start arriving. So when I'm looking at something like LFAP, we've talked about how they have a strong board of directors. And if you go and look at their news, you can check out their news on otcmarkets.com. And you can see that they've had Maria Navratilova to serve on board of directors, former baseball player Billy Beane, U.S. Congressman Barney Frank. So these are huge people, big presences, big personalities that are on the board of directors. Also, LZ Granderson, forgot to mention him. So there's a lot of people that are on here. Procure AM's Robert Toll to serve on board of directors. They're putting the pieces together here. And so they recently just got their website together, which looks pretty cool. What are they? What is LFAP? What do they do? So they're LGBTQ loyalty ETF index. Okay, so in their ETF, and we've seen these types of ETFs kind of really take off in recent months. So this is their new website. Looks pretty good. They have their social media presence, their online presence, starting to build that. And I really think, that LFAP could really start to get some eyeballs on this as we approach Pride Month, which will be in June. So if you guys aren't familiar with the LGBT community, if you're not close to that, then June is their Pride Month. And so I think that for the CEO here, he'll probably try to make his presence greatly known within the month of June. We could see an uptick here on LFAP in the very near future. So I think that 14.5 cent, unfortunately, it did break that support level, but I have added to dips here. If you look at this was a crazy, I don't know, maybe a market sell, something like that dropped all the way back down to like under 10 cents. Lots of people scooped this up though, and it's actually sitting quite pretty at around 12.5. So I think 12.5 cents is actually going to be its new support level, which it looks like it's kind of holding there quite well. If you look at the 30-minute chart. And long term, you look back, you can kind of make an argument that 12.5 cents could be a new support level now that it's broken 14.5. But either way, guys, lots of us within the morning mentorship group, as well as in the overall OTC community, loves LFAP. I think this is going to be a good one for a longer term type of play. So yeah, so there you go. There's 12.5 cents as the new support level. Sorry about that. I forgot I wasn't sharing my screen there for a second. So as you can see, like I said, it's that new support level at 12.5 cents could be a good spot to perhaps take an entry on, or maybe even add to your position if it starts to bounce off of that area. Thanks, Josh. Appreciate it, man. Good to see you again, buddy. Thanks for hanging out tonight. And Joker again, appreciate that too as well. Yeah, we do miss you, Josh. Jan says we miss you. We do miss you, man. But good to have you here tonight, buddy. All right, so moving on to the next one. It's going to be VNUE. VNUE, I think there's a lot of potential to be had here as well. Let me move this over. This was ME. Okay. Sorry. I get my tabs all jacked up and then it screws me up. So I wanted to make sure I had that in the right spot for the next stock to talk about. But VNUE, very interesting one indeed. I like VNUE. There's been, some ups and downs with VNUE. We talked about how this could be some very interesting movement going on. You guys are incredible. Looks like I got a little bit of a donation war going on. You guys are awesome, though. Shark and Joker, thanks again, guys, for the donations. I appreciate the support for the channel. But so VNUE, what's going on with VNUE? What's the due diligence to be had here? Well, they are, it's a company that is surrounded around the music industry. Play on words here is Venue. So this is the actual website for Venue. The CEO is, let me pull this up here, the company profile. So Venue is a music technology company dedicated for further monetizing the live music experience for artists, labels, writers, publishers, and literally all stakeholders. Their CEO is Zach Baer, who is heavily involved in the music industry, has a long history with folks that are in the music industry. He actually has a really good track record of being a serial entrepreneur. He's had previous businesses that he's also sold off to Mark Cuban, most notably. One of his previous companies that he held, he sold off to Mark Cuban. And so what's going on here? So whenever I'm doing due diligence on a new company, the first thing that I go to on otcmarkets.com is that security details. I'm going to look at that share structure. Right, so I'm going to check the share structure out and say, okay, what's going on here? Is this manageable? Can we get past whatever, hangups might be going on? So looking at the outstanding shares, that's what I'm going to look at the most because the float here looks to be outdated. Float hasn't been updated in about a year. I'm willing to bet the outstanding shares is somewhere around 294 million, which actually is very workable. It's very doable. I think that, with the AS being at 750 million, that if we could really get this stock moving with not a whole lot of buying pressure, really wouldn't take much money to get this thing rolling. Now, I will say, after looking through their filings a bit, they do have some convertible debt to work through, but it looks like, based off of the chart, so we can check out the chart here, that, and looking at level 2 over the last several days, that whatever notes they have going, that they have on the books, they're not diluting currently. So this could be a nice little mover in the short term. It could also be a nice move for the long term. Reason being here, guys, is because VNUE is a legitimate company. They have some pretty cool products. One of them being Disc Live. It's that creates CDs and digital recordings of live events. So, just to give you an example of what it does. So, let's just say that you're going to one of your favorite concerts. You're going to see, I don't know, one of mine is Foo Fighters. Like, if I wanted to go see a Foo Fighters concert and they're giving, so what VNUE does, if they're partnered with somebody like Foo Fighters, which they have had big partners such as like Keith Urban, Three Doors Down, Creed, bunch of other big names. And so basically what happens with them is that you go to a concert and VNUE has a product that basically records the entire event so that when you walk out the door, they will sell you these products and say, hey, listen, we have these CDs here. We just burn these off. Everything that you listen to tonight, you can have in your hand. You can listen to it forever. They have digital copies, all that kind of stuff. It's really kind of unheard of. It was the first time I ever heard of a product like that, and it was really cool. They also do a lot of licensing stuff. So if you're looking, you could check out their profile and everything that they've done with like their PRs and stuff like that. They have licensing. So they have a licensing software algorithm that basically listens to like other radio stations that may not have licenses to play their music, basically tracks them down and requires them to do so if they are playing music from artists that they aren't licensed to do so. So basically they can go after radio stations that are playing their music and they don't have permission to do so. So it's pretty cool stuff. Really breakthrough kind of technology. They don't have much going on right now as far as revenue is concerned, but so this is all preliminary. But with it being traded at 0026 as of the close on Friday, I think there's a lot of potential here for the long term if you're looking for long-term investments, and also could be a nice little short pop if that dilution stays off on VNUE as well. Lots of other big names here, most notably veterans that are involved, veterans of the music industry that are involved with VNUE is Jock Weaver of Hard Rock Cafe. He's a huge proponent in Hard Rock Cafe, brought hundreds of millions of dollars to that company. Jim King, Lou Mann, a lot of other folks that are in VNUE, deep into this game here. I think this could be a real game changer for the long term. So if you have the patience, if you have the capital that you want to make longer term investments in something like this, I think this could definitely be undervalued moving forward. It should be interesting to see where this goes. Now, for the fourth one, oh my gosh, you guys are awesome. Raquel, Alan, you guys are knocking it out of the park. Thanks so much. Drew Smith, none of these are on Robinhood. Yeah, the reason for that being is because Robinhood does not allow over-the-counter stocks to be traded on their platform. That is one of the biggest gripes I have with Robinhood. There's plenty of other ones, but that's one of my biggest gripes with Robinhood. So sucks, but it is what it is. What sure would be nice. Yeah, no kidding. So yeah. Yeah, that's like one of the most common things I get. So anyways, the next one's going to be one of those wild card ones. You guys know that I like to talk about these sometimes. These wild cards, these black horses, dark horses that I talk about can essentially be quote unquote lotto type plays. But is MEDH. MEDH, they've been getting some filings in order. They have actually been dark for a little while as far as getting their disclosures together. So if you look at MEDH, again, like I said, I always look at security details here. You can see that it's actually pretty recent, 15 million in the float. This is super thin, almost borderline illiquid here. And so that's why I want to stress extreme caution on MEDH. I think we're going to see a little bit of a pop up on MEDH moving into Monday. Reason being is because they most recently came out with a annual report just today. This isn't something you don't really see a whole lot of, is that filings coming out over the weekend. But today, annual report came out. This should get them really close to getting current. So that stop sign is going to come off here. This dark defunct's going to come off as well. Hopefully that shell risk will come off soon for MEDH. One thing that I would like to point out is that I was looking through their balance sheets. They have little to no convertible debt to speak of. You look at the convertible promissory notes here within the balance sheet, $2,778. Really nothing to speak of. The one note that I saw that was outstanding is a $25,000 note. Really wasn't all that big of a deal. That's next to nothing, especially in the OTC. Sometimes we see an upwards of millions of dollars in convertible debt, and those are the ones you're going to want to stay away from. But also, what did I want to say? Oh, yeah. So as of December 2017, 489,000 in total assets. As of the end of 2018, 2.5 million. So this has been some great substantial growth for MEDH. Not sure what else they have going on. I don't know why they were so dark for so long. So this is why this is like a dark horse for me. And again, like I said, the share structure being so small means that this could get bought up very quickly. There's going to be a lot of people just slapping their slapping their orders right on the ask price. So here's how I would strategize this type of play with MEDH. If I'm not in MEDH, I'm going to look to try to identify some area of resistance. And right here, I'm seeing that there's an area of resistance right around 022. If this happens to gap up to that area and surpasses that, then I'm going to take a smaller position on something like this, where I would, just like buy in just so that I'm not going to be missing the run up. Just take a small position. And then if this happens to have any kind of pullback, it would lend me opportunity to average down a bit before the next run up. So MEDH could look like it would have a decent week this week, trading at 019 as of the close on Friday. We'll see what happens. Lots of times when companies look to get themselves current, there's a reason for that. And sometimes there could be very positive catalyst that comes behind those. So we'll see where this goes as far as MEDH is concerned. Really like this one as well. Now, I saw some comments here, some questions. I did see BMMJ, and I didn't have that on Stockwatch Sunday just because we've been talking about it so much throughout the week that I felt like if you've been following this channel at all, you would know how I feel about BMMJ and where it's headed. So a lot of our folks within the morning mentorship and within WeTrade HQ were able to capitalize on this crazy dip last week. Was able to really average down under $1, which was a gift because it went all the way back up 100% from its lows on this. I mean, wow, this thing just keeps on giving. I still see a lot of long-term potential with BMMJ going into the summer months. I'm not saying that it will go to $3, but it would not surprise me in the least if it went to $3 or more going into the summer. I'm still very bullish on BMMJ. I still have a position on BMMJ. I don't plan on selling that anytime soon. You can look at the Bollinger Bands here and see that it's finally settling down. I told you guys before that I really wanted to see this type of pullback because of how many days it had run. It ran literally for almost 2 months straight of nothing but green days. I mean, the red days that we did see were very minimal, basically just like a flat day. And so the thing just kept on running. And for me personally, I kept saying time and time again that I really wanted to see this kind of, settle down a little bit because it starts to get too hot. People start buying the heck out of this thing. All of a sudden, the bottom's going to drop out. And that's not really the recipe for a healthy stock. I wanted to see some sort of consolidation. I wanted to see some sort of pullback. We saw that pullback and were able to capitalize on it. It was really awesome to see. So yeah, MedX is up. Let's see here. What other questions we got? Hit the like button. Yeah. If you guys like the stream so far, give me a thumbs up. I certainly would appreciate it. PBEC, very good one. So PBEC is another like dark horse one that I definitely will bring up. Let's go ahead and pull that up actually. So again, I'm on WeTradeHQ.com, checking out my due diligence for free. As you can say, I said as PBEC getting interessante. Let me pull up my indicators here. So I always like to check out, I always like to use Bollinger Bands and RSI just to kind of help me identify some areas that are potentially oversold, overbought. PBEC definitely heated up. This is one that we talked about within my morning mentorship. And I believe I also talked about this within one of my midday market recaps. It's getting interesting as I try to use my terrible Spanish explaining and within the WeTrade HQ community what's going on with PBEC. So we go to OTC markets like I always do when I'm doing my due diligence. The first thing I'm going to do is go check out the security details. So I'm going to pull this up and I see, okay, 22 million in the float. That is, again, a super tiny float, very similar to MEDH and the reactions that it's probably going to have. They've come out, they basically had a disclosure or a filings dump over the last, I would say, week or so. So you can see they've had a lot of Q filings that they're looking to get themselves in order with. They do have this caveat emptor, which is something to be, cognizant of, aware of. They have been dark for a while, but the reason for the movement is because of these filings that they've dropped. So it looks like they're trying to get themselves current. And again, a lot of times these companies are looking to get themselves current because perhaps they have something good that they want to share with everybody. And in order to do that, they need to get their act together. And part of that is just getting their filings up to date and in order. And so that a lot of us within the WeTrade HQ and in the Chaos mentorship, took a chance on this one, and I expressed extreme caution with this one. Reason being is because of that insanely small float. This could really get choppy if you're not careful. So making sure that you're not taking anything of size on this one, because it could be difficult to get out of, especially if volume starts to dry up. And the real volume, I don't think, has come in on this one yet either. So sometimes the advantage here is that you can get in at a lower price before a lot of people do if they don't notice what's going on, and it could definitely run. So this is something that I just see, there's a lot of risk involved with this one, because, low floats, they're a double-edged sword, right? So if you see something with a low float, everybody's like, oh, it's got a low float. It's got a low float. Just buy it up, whatever. It's a double-edged sword. It's a two-way street, okay? Low floats, especially something as a super low float like PBEC, or like I was talking about with MEDH, it's going to run like crazy with little dollar volume. It's not going to take a whole lot of buying the thing for it to really blow up, right? But on the flip side, it's also not going to take a whole lot of selling to get it to drop down. So if the spread's really wide like PBEC is, or MEDH, and you start to slap the ask, all it takes is somebody to just go down and whack the bid price, and all of a sudden you got, a penny, maybe a 50% haircut. It's not fun. It's not a fun ride at all. So that is why it's very important to manage that risk when you're looking at something with such small floats like that, because it could really get you in trouble, and you might get stuck, especially if you take too large of a position and you're not preparing yourself to scale out of it as you would have scaled in. So just be careful with that. It's not, again, like something that I see value in. I'm actually in PBEC as well, but definitely want to express a caution with something that has such a low float like that. Because everybody likes to talk about, low floats and how great they are. But there is, like I said, that double-edged sword that comes with it as well. So let's see here. Thoughts about IMTL? It's a big old fat turd. No, thank you. They've been, basically, they've done like a program where the only reason they were doing a program was to basically dump shares on everybody. And that's exactly what happened. We can take a look at it. I've already talked about it in my previous live stream, so I don't want to go into too much detail, but that's basically what happened. Michelle says she loves my t-shirt. Yeah, so if you guys are interested in checking out these t-shirts and you want to see my beautiful face, you want to wear that around, that's cool. Where I'm basically just dressed up as Jesus, telling everybody to buy the effing dip. If you want to buy a shirt like this, there's links down in the description for our WeTrade HQ apparel store. Go check that out. Anything in particular for PDPR? Thanks, WeTrade HQ. PDPR, not really anything going on. Really low volume. This is one that I took a chance on, a while ago, and it just hasn't moved. It's been unfortunate. No volume really to speak of, and it doesn't look like they have any pending catalysts coming up either. If you're in PDPR and you still see value in it, just prepare to be patient. There's really kind of not a whole lot of risk involved with it being traded at 0006 cents per share. So if you're looking to maybe take a lotto play on this or something like that, by all means. But it's going to be a real long waiting game for PDPR for them to get anything going. Lots of people scared away from this one. As you can see, like I said, I played this, looks like a month ago, and got out just because there was just endless selling. The dilution couldn't be overcome, and didn't want to take a chance on it any longer. Let's see here. Thoughts on NSPX? NSPX, again, is going to be another one that's going to be another patience game with that one as well. Is there somewhere you can get a printable version of what SEC filings are? I'm guessing, Driver Dave, maybe you mean like just like a list of what they all mean. That's a great idea. I actually thought about maybe I'll do that. So if you go to WeTrade HQ at the homepage and you look up, there's actual free guides that myself, Jake, lots of other people have also made. And I'll put this in the free guide section. So if you guys want to know more information, maybe just like some basic stuff, feel free to check out our free guides. I'll put that together for you and for anybody else who might be interested in that as well. Let's see. Big fat turd. Listen, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It is a big fat turd. What time's your mentorship? Great question, LA. So I go live with folks from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern time. The reason why I do that is because I like to show people what might be moving, what potential catalysts are out there before the market opens, so that we can make a plan and execute that plan after the market opens, which is at 9:30 Eastern, and execute it. But sometimes that also might mean just sitting on your hands and not making a trade at all. If there's nothing that looks good, you don't want to force trades. But then we could also talk about, just maybe some basic understanding with questions of like, what's the share structure mean? Or why does that matter? And why should I apply that to my trading? Stuff like that. So, and I'm within that private Discord group as well. I'll shout out some stuff that maybe I'm getting into. Maybe there's something that's worth looking at. I never tell people what to buy or what to sell. It's not a hand-holding alerts type of room. It's genuinely the purpose is for you to get this, for you to do this on your own, not have me do everything for you, but really kind of like help you become a proficient trader so that you can do this on your own and really basically do what I do, which is just do it every day for a living. I haven't had a 9 to 5 job in over a year. It's been awesome. And so my whole goal has been able to want to get people to do that themselves. And so it costs $50 a month, $49.99. You want to get technical about it. And honestly, I really priced it so that it could pay for itself. So if you're interested, again, links are down in the description. Go check that out. So there's doc videos. Yeah, I did get some sun. 9 a.m. Yeah, there you go. Let's see here. Just looking through some questions. CURLF. Thank you for that. CURLF. So let's take a look. Cureleaf. This is one that I think that I did look at previously, and that just kind of shook my head at and said no. A lot of reasons. That's why. Because I think this is under promotion, right? Isn't this a crap? Where'd I go? Okay. Let me pull this up. Yeah, it's a QX, which is good. This is basically the highest rating you can get in the OTC. So for lack of better words, they got their shit together. So to be on the QX, you really got to be good to go and be a reputable company and have a lot of good history, which CURLF does. It's a Canadian company. Looking through the security details, share structure looks really good. Floats at 70 million. It's outdated, so we'll see. I'm going to assume that the float's somewhere around 330 million. It's not the most accurate way to do it, but when you get things that are outdated, you just have to go with the largest number and assume that that's what the float is. So it might not be that that's what the float is, but that's really all we have to go off of. Looking at the chart, though, it's not something that I'm necessarily attracted to. Reason being is because it's really choppy. You could see a lot of gap ups here, and so it looks a little bit hot at this point to get in. Looks like whatever caused this to run up, it's already started its run. So for me personally, I probably wouldn't be investing in this one. But if you see value, obviously, do your own due diligence and make your own decisions as far as like what you see value in. But, it looks like it has a decent support level at $10.76. So if you're looking to day trade this, that could be a good area to, make an entry if it holds that area. And, we'll see kind of where this goes from here. But for long-term investing, I would say it's a little bit hot right now for me to try to like hop in this. Usually the type of trading that I do, I'm looking for something like this. I want to get in the very bottom, something that everybody's looking at and is like, you know what, man, I'm not getting into that. But then you do some investigating, you do some research, and you're like, you know what, there's something going on here, and I want to be a part of it, and I'm trying to get in early. Something like this, where it's already ran from $4 all the way up to nearly $11. It's a little bit risky for me at this point for the type of trading that I do. But again, like I said, if you see long-term value in this, do your own due diligence and make that decision as you see fit. What else we got? Lots of good questions, guys. Keep them coming. Do I have veterans discount? Great question. Yes, I do. The instructions are down below in the description as well for those of you who are veterans. And actually, great great segue, I guess. It's not really a segue because they're veterans, but I forgot to wish everybody who is a nurse and a teacher a happy Nurses and Teachers Week. None of you guys get paid enough to do what it is you do, but you guys are the ones that make the world go round. You're saving lives every day, and you're bringing up the future of our world and our country. So if you know a teacher or a nurse, give them a shout out this week. It is National Nurses and Teachers Appreciation Week, so go thank those folks if you know anybody, which I'm sure you do because they're everywhere. So yeah, make sure you say thanks for their services and doing what it is that they do every day. So need more likes? Yes, give it a thumbs up. Samir says the morning mentorship pays for itself in one trade. Thanks, man. Appreciate the shout out. Have you looked at LEGE? LEGE. Yeah, Josh, I can take a look at that. What's going on with LEG? Man, that's really tough to say. Leg E. How about that? Leg E. That's going to be easier to say. It's really illiquid, it looks like, based off of the chart. Looking at the daily chart, there's not a whole lot of liquidity to speak of. So what this tells me just by looking at the chart is that it's going to be difficult to make an entry, also difficult to get out of. Just looking at the chart itself. I'm willing to bet that if I look at the security details that it's going to tell me that as well in the share structure. Let's see what we got going on. That's not going to tell me much. Got 126 million in the OS, which is really good. But the way this is trading, it's probably a lot of it's due to the low volume that we're seeing. What else did you got for me, Josh, as far as LEGE is concerned? No dive necessary. Oh, can't see my screen. Sorry. Whoops. There you go. Oh, Acaro custodian. So the thing is with Joseph Acaro lately, he's been really unreliable. Everything that he's done, it just sits forever. And really, kind of the latest one was what was it? Oh man, the one that they had grapefruit. It was like a CBD company, and like they pulled out on one at the last minute. Just hasn't had a whole lot of good luck with Joseph Acaro lately, and so he's been really tough to kind of really trust. MXMG was another one that looked like it had a lot of promise, and then just kind of fell flat. And he's just got a lot of these parked. I'm not saying that there isn't value to be had here, but we got to see some more volume coming in before I would consider taking a chance on it, just because it is so choppy. You're going to have a hard time getting in. And then if you ever want to get out, you're going to have a really difficult getting out as well. Let's see what else we got. Kids were out of school. Oh, I guess you guys got a side comment going on here, or side topic. Nice thing to say about it. Can you do another glance at PTOTF? If I already looked at it and I gave my opinion on it, I probably have the same opinion. I remember talking about PTOTF. Not quite sure. I'm going to looking to do another look at it. All right, guys. So I'm actually going to go ahead and end things there. So I know that there's a lot of other folks that maybe had some questions and figures they wanted me to look at, but I try to keep Stockwatch Sunday within a certain time frames. But if you really want me to answer those questions for you, go to our free Discord group and feel free to ask those within the group as well. If you want me to take a look at it, I'd be happy to do so. And within that group, then just kind of do it off to the side with you, or send me a direct message through Discord. That's probably the easiest way to reach out to me. And yeah, again, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thanks for all the comments. Thanks for all the donations as well to Stockwatch Sunday. I guess is becoming a hot donate type of stream for some reason. Everybody loves donating on Sundays. But so thank you. I appreciate that. The support's been overwhelming from you guys. So if you're looking to step up your game, Again, the link is in the description for the morning mentorship. I also do have a course as well. If you're completely new to the OTC, you have no idea what you're doing when it comes to trading this extremely volatile market, there is a course that's available to you, and you get 1 month of free mentorship. So that mentorship that I was talking about, you get it for free if you buy that course as well. So be sure to check that out. And if you want to be part of the community and you're like, Brad, I hate penny stocks suck, that's okay. You can still be part of WeTrade HQ. So that, because if you're trading ETFs, futures, options, Forex, even cryptocurrencies, no matter what you're trading in the market, WeTrade HQ is the place for you. Guys, give this a thumbs up. Please subscribe if you want to see some more content as this. And as always, guys, I will see you all before the bell. B. Smith is out. Have a great rest of your weekend and see ya tomorrow.